on that point with handling conflict and things that arise, problem solving is something that all employers or all people that you're working with, let's say if you have clients but you're working for yourself, they want to understand that you can solve problems. And problem solving is something that comes up a lot, believe it or not, for study abroad students, because again, you are trying to initiate yourself into a culture. You're going through culture shock, you're going through homesickness, you may be just trying to figure out where the train station is. There's all these different things that are going on. And there is a sort of higher level of problem solving that is needed when you're just getting used to a newer culture. You can use examples of how you problem solved maybe in a class to figure out how to acclimate yourself to the academic ways of the particular country that you're in. Again, the example of maybe you're living with other exchange students. How did you problem solve when all the roommates need to come together to do something? They're all from different cultures. How did that actually work out for you? There are so many ways to think about that and frame that for yourself in terms of being a problem solver and what that means of how you used it in your study abroad program and how you can use it in your upcoming career. So definitely something to think about that as well. Last but not least, I will just say that independence is going to be something that is going to be important as you think about how you want to discuss your study abroad journey in your future career. Now, I like to frame this in a certain way because there is a certain amount of autonomy, hopefully, if you're very lucky and don't have a micromanager, that you will have within your job. But you also, too, will have times where you have to work with people. We know that. But thinking about how you're able to be independent as you're going through, again, this is more tailored towards people that are just getting started in their career because they're not as used to seeing this. But you will see a lot of times in your career as you're going through and looking at job descriptions, or even if, let's say, you're just working in a small team where people may say you can work with a team, but also too needs to be able to take on tasks independently or needs to be able to move projects forward. A lot of times you will be doing things independently by yourself. For some people, that can be very scary. For me, that's like my dream world. But I do understand that, particularly if you're a student, you're used to doing things in groups or with people where even if, let's say, you're working on your own project, everyone's kind of doing the same thing. And so you're moving in the same direction. You're taking those social cues of whether you're on the right pathway or not from your other peers. Whereas once you actually get into your career, it's a lot different. And so you can definitely use the angle of independence during your study abroad program to talk more about that. So maybe you did work on a project in class that was more independent. Maybe it was something where you were going out every day for an internship. All your roommates, they had to take one train line. You had to take another train line and then change twice. And so you had to figure out how to do that safely. These are little things that people don't think would illustrate independence, but it is a way of being able to do that. And there are other things too. Maybe you had to actually find your own housing. And so how did you go about that process? Maybe something happened with your passport. You had to figure out how to actually get that replaced. Maybe for what you were doing with your program, you need to get in contact with someone back home to figure out how to get your transcript forwarded. So how did you go about and do that? And these are things that you took on upon your own ability to be able to do it independently. How did that actually work? So being able to explain that to people, and again, using that STAR method or the CAR method, there's so many different methods, being able to tell that story. Again, using study abroad is just like using an internship you've done. It's just like talking about volunteer work you've done or any class work you've done. It's about being able to do the storytelling of that and being able to showcase how this actual time was, number one, more than just a vacation, because study abroad is more than just a vacation. Most vacations don't cost over $20,000 a semester to do. But also, too, that you actually got value out of what you were doing during your study abroad program. So for more